Get ready for Prophets and Ballers, where politics are a passion, sports are a living, and God is a given.
Hey! Come on now, fellas! We've got to answer the bell. Now let's go!
When my time on earth is gone and my activities here are past, I want they bury me upside down and my critics can kiss my...
That's the great voice of now the past of Bobby Knight. Passes away at the age of 83. Welcome to Prophets and Ballers. Another episode. Today we're going to talk studs and duds, NFL halfway mark. But first, we want to pay a tribute to one of the all-time great coaches, not just in basketball, but in all sports. My favorite Bobby Knight moment was the chair throwings. Slags, what was your favorite Bobby Knight moment?
The Bobby Knight show he was doing when they were recording after a particularly bad performance by Indiana. And he went from calm to irate in a nanosecond, where he was talking for about 30 seconds, nice and calm, explaining what disappointed him about the game, and then immediately snapped and just went and launched into just MF and everything, kicking the stool over, throwing the microphone, cussing the show out, saying F this show, getting up and just leaving right in the middle of it.
He was legendary. Folks, if you get a chance, go to YouTube, type in Bobby Knight game face. One of the funniest videos you'll ever see. They asked him.
I remember that.
Do you remember that? He's like, what's a game face? And then he does all these different faces. It is absolutely hilarious.
It is. It's the best.
He's like, these youngsters today, they're like, get your game face on. He's like, what is a game face? You know, then he makes all these funny faces with his tongue out, tongue in, nose flared out. He's like, tell me, which one's my game face?
Oh, legend. Absolute legend.
Do you remember who hit the game winner for him against Syracuse?
Oh, I don't. Who was it?
Keith Smart.
That's right. Keith Smart.
Yeah.
He was brilliant.
Yes. No one thought he was going to take this shot. Only Bobby could draw that up. Phenomenal coach.
The best. Just the best.
Yeah. Our love and peace goes out to all his friends, family, and all those that had a relationship with the great Bobby Knight. You're listening to Prophets and Ballers. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL. We're about through the halfway mark. Not quite. Some teams have played 8 games. Some teams have played 7. We know the schedule is 17 games. So that puts a little twist into everything. But we'll call it the halfway mark. And, you know, now that we do card reviews, so on and so forth, we're going to talk about the studs, the players that you want to keep collecting, and some of the duds, players you should be a little fearful of, maybe possibly overhyped. But let's first go to the standings. What's the biggest surprise, Slags, as far as the AFC? I can tell you for me, the biggest surprise, which might not be that big of a surprise, but at this point that Miami is in first place and Buffalo's in second.
Yeah. When you look at the standings, I think everything's pretty much playing out the way everybody expected, with the exception of the AFC East. Buffalo at 5-3 has certainly had their moments where you kind of scratch your head and say, is their window of opportunity already gone? And let's face it, the way Miami's playing, Tyreek Hill with 1,000 yards through 8 games, Miami's just been offensively a juggernaut. I think the only thing that they need to correct is their inability to play consistently on the road. Miami has been certainly unbeatable at home, but they've run into their problems. They're 2-2 on the road this year, and they haven't looked their dominant selves like they do when they're playing in Miami. So they certainly have speed all over the place, and they can run any team out of the stadium. But they're going to have to be able to play on the road, find a way to win on the road, because let's face it, until somebody knocks the Chiefs out, I mean, you have to look at the Chiefs. What's Mahomes played in 4 straight championship games?
Yes, that's
And
correct.
all 4 at home.
All 4
So,
at home.
All 4 at home. So, I mean, you can't discount that. You can't you can't dismiss it. So Miami's going to have to show that they can play on the road. And certainly, with the way the standings are right now, everybody's 6-2 that's leading in the division. Miami in the East, KC in the West, Baltimore in the North, and Jacksonville in the South. So it's going to be a tight race, but you have to give the nod to the defending champs right now. And of course, the big matchup this Sunday is Miami going on the road to play at Kansas City. That's another one of those early morning kickoff games on Sunday.
In Germany?
Yeah, so it's not technically in Kansas City. I mean, they're on the road in another continent, but they're the designated road team, if you will. But yeah, they're going to be playing on the road in Germany. So maybe if the Dolphins can play on the road in Germany, that'll give them a little boost for when they get back to the States, huh?
Yeah, that's a great matchup. And I believe the Cowboys and Eagles go at it as well once we
Yes,
get to the
they do.
NFC. So let's
Yep.
stick to the AFC East. Let's talk about some studs and some duds. I think we all agree and we recommend keep holding on to the 2 rookie cards. His value is going to continue to go up. And then another guy from Miami that was just a beast was A-Chain. And he really, lit the field on fire. He was doing better than Mozart, wasn't he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and is he coming back anytime soon?
I haven't heard. I'm not sure. That's something we probably got to look up. I don't know if Mr. P could check on that for us.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's been upgraded
Devin
or not.
A-Chain. And then for Buffalo, what do you think about Josh Allen's value? It's definitely probably stable. It's not trending upward or downward. Same with Stephon Diggs. Going back to Miami, Tyreek Hill, if he breaks that Calvin Johnson's mark, I believe, right? Calvin has the record?
Yeah, Calvin has it. Yep.
Yeah, if he breaks that record, I mean, who knows where he goes.
Yeah.
Buffalo, you said that their window might be closing. Is that because the other teams have caught up to them so quickly, or have
Yeah.
they descended so quickly?
I just think that other teams in the conference have caught up to them, and they're not, they're not the best team in their division right now. I don't think they are, regardless of what the standings say right now. If you just look at the way teams have been playing, they're certainly not better than Miami from what you see on a week-to-week basis. And I'll go so far as to say, in that division, I mean, the Jets defense has just been legit. And the fact that team has found a way to win without Aaron Rodgers, losing him on the first series of the season, is a testament to how dominant that defense really is. And that defense has been carrying them. They're right now, they stand at 4-3. They have a -3 point differential. But that defense is capable of shutting down even the best offenses in the league.
And speaking of studs and duds, obviously Zach Wilson was a dud for the last few years. Has he turned
Right.
it around?
Yeah,
Has he
I don't know.
turned it around?
I don't think so. I don't
If
think he.
Zach Wilson turned it around, that means Kenny Pickett has turned it around.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, he's consistently throwing 220 plus yards a game now, right? It's not those 80-yard games anymore, those 100-yard games. I mean, he's throwing the ball, he's spreading the ball. He's playing. It's definitely a different player from the guy that I saw the last couple years. Definitely a different player.
Well,
Now,
I mean, they had nowhere to go but up, so it's not like
that's true.
he's achieved Dan Marino status from 1984 here. The guy's completing less than 60% of his passes. He's only got 5 touchdown passes on the year, and his rating is 74. He's averaging close to 200 yards a game passing, so I'll give you that. But does that translate?
I mean, you know what? Let me tell you something. He has 1,337 yards for the year, for the season so far.
Yeah.
You know what the number 1,337 means?
What?
Elite.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. That's just something I know. I think it comes from the gaming community or something, but yeah, it basically means skilled. Like the number 1337 means skilled, literally.
Well, you cracked on Kenny Pickett, and just to compare, Kenneth Pickett has 1,330 yards and has a higher QB rating than one Zach Wilson. Kenny's rating is 80.6. So they have both lit up the scoreboard for 5 touchdown passes this year.
So
pretty similar teams then. I mean, the Steelers have good defense too.
Yes, both have shit offenses. Very similar.
So sticking to the AFC East, if the playoffs were to start today, believe it or not, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland would be your wild cards. So Buffalo would be the wild card.
Yeah.
So speaking of studs, for the Jets, everyone knows about Sauce Gardner, but how good is Breece Hall? He's averaging 5.7 yards a pop. He has just been a machine on the offensive side running the ball.
Yeah, he's explosive. He's one of their few, guys on offense that they can count on for production. Like I said, that team's struggling to score offensively, but Breece, he's a home run hitter. He could break it, anywhere on the field. He's got an 80-yarder this year. But last year I think he had a 79-yard reception. But it's a guy that could take one to the house at any time. So he's certainly a weapon. He's a big dude. Certainly having success right now, and he's the main guy right now, I would say, in that offense.
Yeah, guys, keep collecting Breece Hall rookie cards, and for that matter, Garrett Wilson as well. Once he has a better quarterback, his numbers will return. We won't even get to New England. So at the halfway,
you're just going to dismiss one Bill Belichick, huh?
On to Cincinnati.
Do you think he survives after the year?
Absolutely.
Yeah? You think Kraft's going to stick with him?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah? Okay. That's interesting. We'll see.
How about you? You think he's on the hot seat?
I mean, they're 2-6, and Kraft has said he's not real thrilled. And I mean, how long are you going to? Now the guy's been to 10 Super Bowls in 20 years, so
yeah,
you would think that he gets to write his own exit ticket. But when the owner is starting to get a little ornery about what's going on, and then the whispers are that it was all Brady and it wasn't Belichick, it makes you think. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise. Put it this way, it wouldn't surprise me if he was shown the door after the season.
Wow, that's a bold take. Because the point that I'm looking at is, he ran a system for 20 years with the same exact quarterback for 20 years. And to implement and start from scratch with a brand new chef in the kitchen, it's much easier for Tom Brady to go to another team and pick up a ring than a head coach / general manager starting from scratch and picking up a ring. Brady did really quickly, but he's also a player, right? That's why someone like Kevin Durant jumps to the Warriors, picks up a ring.
Right.
Whereas a GM, I think they need to be given, a good 6 to 8 years to put everything together, bring that culture, whatever type of culture they're trying to build. And then, he's got to just keep adding pieces year over year. He has been confused on the quarterback side. I think, the year with Cam Newton threw him off. Then the year that Mac Jones, as a rookie, had a great year. Then when he had a down year, people thought Bailey Zappi might be the real deal. And on he goes. He just hasn't had that quarterback. But I think he survives. I think he's got another 2 to 3 years in New England. I do.
Gotcha.
I do. And Bob Kraft, if he's a true football guy, I think he would understand the nature of building a team versus joining a team. A player joins a team. Belichick is building a team. That's a much more difficult task and definitely a much longer task. So, who comes out of the AFC East in your opinion?
Hard to argue against Miami, but Buffalo again. Can they turn it around? Of course they can. They just, they're 1-2 in the division, so they're looking. Not only are they looking up, a game behind Miami, but in the standings, but they got to start winning some division games. That 5-3, obviously they're not terrible. They're doing okay. They sit with the top wild card spot right now as we speak. I just can't see them getting past Miami. I really can't.
Wow. Okay, that's an interesting take because Miami does have some tough games. Miami was tested in the cold weather a little bit at Philly Sunday Night Football, and they just could not hang for the life of them. And they were actually moving the ball pretty well, but they just couldn't close out their drives. And now they have Kansas City this Sunday, and they can drop a game there. They've already dropped one to Buffalo. They got blown out. So they're going to have to beat Buffalo at home to close out the conference if they want to win that conference. They have to beat Buffalo at home.
Agreed.
So let's go to the AFC West. The same way that, we're saying the window is starting to close on Buffalo because they're descending, the window should be closing on Kansas City because no team is losing talent day by day, year by year, more than the Kansas City Chiefs. But one person alone keeps that franchise in sole top position by themselves, Patrick Mahomes. And I'll be honest, to me, the Chiefs being this good this early is a surprise. As great as Mahomes is a surprise. He doesn't have that many weapons. And
Well, here's the thing.
34.
Here's the thing. Obviously, they get all the attention on the offensive side of the football because what they've done in the past when they had Tyreek Hill, they have Mahomes. It's not even an argument. He's the best quarterback in the league. What doesn't get attention and really what has allowed Kansas City to remain such a dominant force is their defense. Nobody talks about the defense. Their defense has been arguably the best facet of that team. And that's tough to think about when you've got Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. But this is a team that through 8 games has given up only 129 points on the season, which ties with the Jets right behind the AFC leader. Baltimore has given up the fewest points at 121. And then you have Houston that's given up 128, although that's been in 7 games. So points per game, Kansas City ranks second in the league. And the Jets have also only played 7 games as well. So points per game, Kansas City second behind Baltimore in the conference.
And how dangerous is that? And what a luxury for Mahomes to actually have a defense working for him versus the other way around where he has to score on every single drive. I mean, that's a phenomenal point.
Yeah. I mean, they could
their
put up
defense
20,
is just that good.
They could, Mahomes, they could put up 24 points and they're sitting pretty, they're going to be in good shape for a win. He doesn't have to light up over 30 a game.
No, absolutely not. Obviously Mahomes is a stud. What do you think about Pacheco?
You know what? Say what you will, but the man on that team is Kelsey first and foremost.
Yeah,
I appreciate the speed from Pacheco, but Kelsey's a different animal. Even when they had Tyreek Hill, Kelsey's the guy that's finding the open spots. He's sitting down. He's Mahomes' go-to guy. He just knows how to get open. He knows how to work the zones. He's a matchup nightmare because he's so big and athletic as a tight end. He's got the Swifties behind him now too. There's no stopping Travis Kelce.
No stopping them.
Stopping him.
Is he better than Gronk?
That's a great question. You know what?
Jeff, before you answer that question, just imagine Salts dressed up as Travis Kelce for Halloween.
The Swifties loving him, huh?
What if I told you I wasn't even joking?
Were you a Swiftie?
Yeah, Travis Kelce.
Oh man.
Oh jeez.
All right, talk to me. Gronk or Kelce, or you can even throw Tony Gonzalez in there.
Kelsey's right there in the conversation. As far as game changers at that position, Kelsey's right there. I mean, Brady just relied on Gronk a ton, but Brady had some other security blankets there during his time that he could lean on. And I mean, what you're seeing Kelce do right now without having the true number 1 wide receiver, it's just amazing.
And what do you think about their draft pick from SMU, Rice, the receiver? Think he's going to pan out, or
you know what? Wait and see.
Hasn't done anything.
You know what?
Special.
You got to give some of these kids the benefit of the doubt. Think about it this way: when you were in college, did you even dream about having somebody like Patrick Mahomes back there as quarterback? Right?
Exactly.
It takes a little bit to get used to. Mahomes is that great.
Yeah, absolutely. Sticking with the West, is he still a stud, or is he crossing to the dud? And I'm talking about Justin Herbert.
Herbert's a stud. His head coach is a clown. Brandon Staley should actually wear face paint to the stadium every Sunday because he's a clown. Absolute clown.
Yes. What is he doing coaching?
Joke of a coach. Absolute joke of a coach. And I hope he loses his job after the season, if not before the season ending.
Josh McDaniels lost his job today.
Yep. And did you hear who he dressed up as for Halloween?
No.
You didn't hear?
Don't tell me. Mark Davis?
Yes. He dressed up as Mark Davis the day before he got fired.
Oh my gosh.
So that makes me think he kind of knew what was coming.
Wow.
That was kind of his double middle finger out the door.
Wow. Is that a true story?
Yes, yes. He dressed up as Mark Davis for the team Halloween party.
With the bowl cut and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That is awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
That is awesome. So you still have Josh Jacobs there for the Raiders. Jimmy G lost his job as well. They're going to go with
Geez, what a terrible, terrible
Aiden
season he's
O'Connell,
had. Oh my
the
God.
guy from Purdue.
Yeah, Jimmy G's just terrible. And then we'll give a little cursory notice here to Denver. Do you think Sean Payton's going to right the ship out there in Denver?
I do.
They had the big upset win over KC.
Over
Mahomes had the
KC.
flu, right? Played like crap. But, I mean, do you think that Sean Payton will get that ship righted out there?
Well, I mean, he's already got Russell Wilson on the right track, right?
Yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah, Russell Wilson looks completely different from last year to this year.
Yeah.
So that in itself has already righted the ship.
Yeah.
Now, at the same token, they're stuck in a really difficult division, playing San Diego twice and Kansas City twice.
Yeah.
But no, I think he's going to have success there.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have success
do too.
there. And I don't think his success is rooted on whether Russell Wilson stays there or not. I think Sean Payton's a plug and play type of guy.
Yeah, I think if Russ leaves, if they decide to move on from him or whatever would transpire, I think he's enough of a evaluator at that quarterback position that he'll find somebody that he could plug in there that'll work and work his system.
I can't stand Sean Payton's X and O.
Right, I'm with you.
X's and O's. Drives me crazy watching him coach, watching his teams play. But when the game is over, from the outside looking in, he does have something special to him where he does get the most out of his players. And they're moving the ball.
Yeah.
They're moving the ball again, and they have 3 wins already.
Yeah.
And I know people had much more hype with Russell Wilson coming there and more talent, but with what happened last year, you almost have to say it's already been a mini turnaround. And Denver, there's really no special offensive players, right? I mean, Judy could be better. Your running backs, Javonte Williams.
Well, Javante's coming off a terrible ACL injury, so
Yeah.
the fact that he's even playing right now is a win for them. I think you'll see Javonte return to his rookie form next year. Typically they say it takes a full year to get back into, the swing of things. So I see Javonte returning to form next year. Not that he's been doing bad this year, but I think you'll see a return to his rookie form next year.
Absolutely. And then the recommendation that I have is, because you can get him for pennies on a dollar, take a shot on some Aiden O'Connell rookie cards. He can pop up and become the next, under the radar superstar. He's got the size, comes from a Big Ten school, Purdue, played some good ball there. And he was great during the preseason, and the little amount that he's played this year, he has moved the chains. So, and I like that call, moving on from Jimmy G with his 11.5, salary hit. At some point, you have to move on from that. And I like that move going through with Aiden O'Connell. They're 3-5. They're not catching Kansas City. So the best that they can do is just keep developing for the following years. So no surprise in the AFC West. Let's go to the AFC North. Did we think Baltimore would be standing this far apart from Cincinnati halfway through the season?
Well, I mean, I didn't think it was such a stretch because let's face it, what we saw happen to Burrow with the calf in training camp, it just didn't seem like they were going to be able to have much success. But here's the thing: last 2 weeks, Burrow's looked pretty healthy.
Oh, he's
right?
been great.
Come out of the bye week, and what did they do in their last game?
Wow, San Francisco.
All they did was dominate on the road at San Francisco. And I mean, Burrow in that game, I mean, that was Joe Burrow. 28 of 32, 283 passing, 3 touchdowns. He was just insanely good. And
28 of 32?
28 of 32 against that defense. And you just if you're the rest of the AFC North, well, let's just talk about the Browns and Steelers in this because they're tied with the Bengals. They all sit at 4-3 while the Ravens are 6-2. That Ravens haven't had their bye yet. But, you know, the Ravens needed that kind of a start if they want to contend for the division title because now if Burrow is healthy, look out because I don't think Cleveland or Pittsburgh has a chance to withstand the charge of the Bengals if Burrow's healthy. And, you know, if you're the Ravens, you got to start, you know, sweating a little bit about how this is going to play out. Although certainly Baltimore has gotten out to the start that they wanted. Lamar has looked really good. You know, the defense has looked really good. They dominated. I mean, they blew Detroit out of the water last Sunday from the opening kickoff.
Unbelievable.
I think they scored touchdowns in their first 4 drives. Detroit couldn't even get a first down. You know, are they that good and Detroit that bad? Obviously not. That was just one of those days where, you know, everything was rolling. But, you know, the fact that they're 6-2, that new offense that's been installed is looking really well. Lamar's looking like he could return to MVP form. The defense playing well. You know, the one thing that could blow up in their faces is the idiotic decisions that their head coach tends to make from time to time. I mean, let's face it, what he did with some of those play calls. Salts, you remember the Pittsburgh game, I'll point out. The Pittsburgh game.
Yes.
Now Lamar could have thrown 5 touchdowns that game easily. His receivers did not help him out. However, Harbaugh at the end of the first half in that game, you have the best kicker on the planet in Justin Tucker. There's not much time left on the clock, right? I think it was less than 20 seconds. Or maybe there was 23 seconds. And you decide to go for a 4th down. And it wasn't like it was 4th and inches, right? It was a 4th and 2. And you weren't even in the red zone yet. I think they were on the 23 or something like that. And they get stopped. And they could have gone up by 2 scores at that point by just kicking the what amounts to a chip shot field goal for Justin Tucker. And they wind up losing that game. But this league is so close. Every game, every week is so dang close that Harbaugh makes moves like that where he passes on points when, especially in that rivalry, when they play the Steelers. Those games are typically, Salts, correct me if I'm wrong, typically those games come down to about a field goal, right?
Field goal games.
I mean, historically speaking, you know, field goals are like gold in that. And Harbaugh, a lot of times, just to me, seems like he just gambles for the sake of gambling. I don't know why does that, and some of his decisions hurt the Ravens and has cost them wins through the years. Whether it's deciding to go for 2 points and a win, instead of kicking an extra point and going to overtime, things like that. He doesn't make a lot of sense with a lot of his moves sometimes, and I think that he's the one thing that can hold that team back.
Does Baltimore have that reliability from the running back position or the receiver position to bail out Lamar Jackson when he needs bailed out? To move the chain.
Other than Andrews, who's the tight end.
Yeah, Mark Andrews is good, but he's not Kelsey.
No, he's not Kelsey, but I mean, he's their best option in the pass game. I don't trust any of their receivers,
Exactly.
So.
And and they're gonna make a push, right, to go deep into the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
But at some point there's going to be a game where Lamar's not going to be Superman.
Right, of course.
And someone needs to bail him out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't see who they have.
Yeah.
Like they're it's just a bunch of C players. I mean, Zay Flowers, I mean, let's be honest. They dominated the Steelers. They had 6 drop passes.
They should have blown the Steelers out of that game. The fact that they lost and they only put 10 points up against them was a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they literally could have had 35 points on the board that game.
And that's right, and that makes it that much more scarier how bad the Steelers are.
Yeah.
So let's go on to the Steelers.
Oh boy.
So we're 2-0 in the division, 3-2 in the conference. We're sitting as a wild card spot.
Yep. That would be the second wild card if the season ended today.
But the season doesn't
end. With all of that being said, they have a point differential of -34. They haven't scored more than 1 touchdown in a game. Well, no, I should say they've only scored more than 1 touchdown in a game once, offensively speaking. They continue to struggle in the first half of games, especially the first quarter, where they don't even get a first down, let alone points. Right now, I think it's a combination of Canada and Pickett. This latest game against Jacksonville, Pickett missed some throws that just you have to make as an NFL quarterback.
Yes.
First throw of the game. Now, granted, they had some inclement weather. It was raining. Had a seam route. Deontay Johnson wide open. First play of the game. The throw's a little high, certainly catchable. Deontay should pull that in if he's, considered a number 1 receiver, but it doesn't make the play. He doesn't connect. Okay, well, what does that lead to? Well, 4 straight 3-and-outs to start the game for the Steelers. But then as the game progresses, you have Pickens getting wide open behind the defense, one-on-one coverage on a corner route. Pickett underthrows him. Pass gets knocked away. Could have been a touchdown. Should have been a touchdown. Put it that way. And then the end or late in the first half, Steelers going a long drive, and Deontay flashes open in the end zone, and Pickett throws behind him. Deontay's wide open. It's a layup for a touchdown, and Pickett throws behind him. It's just it's like their offense is so bad right now that even the routine plays, you're grinding your teeth trying to make the routine play. The running game has been absolutely atrocious. And again, this one of the Jaguars defenders after the game, this is another team where they're saying that Pittsburgh's offense was predictable. They were calling out the plays at the line of scrimmage. The Jaguars were knowing what was coming, which lends to Matt Canada's inability and ineffectiveness as a offensive coordinator. The guy is clearly out of his element. He's not qualified to be an NFL OC. The fact that Mike Tomlin continues to ride with him in year 3, they are on a 55-game streak without having 400 yards of offense, which of course predates Canada. Canada's never had a 400-yard total offensive game, and they're averaging 1 touchdown a game right now. And this is year 3 of his tenure. So
yeah, and going to Pittsburgh, for the sports card investors, we have many questions. Is Kenny Pickett still a potential stud? Do we start calling him a bust and calling him a dud? Is Najee Harris a potential stud, or is he now a dud? The one stud that we do know for a fact is George Pickens. He's a stud, absolute stud. And I'm really happy with Joey Porter Jr. as well. I think he's going to be a heck of a corner in this league.
Yeah, agreed. Unfortunately, with Pickett, I think you need to. While he is certainly needs to shoulder some of the blame for the ineffectiveness of the offense, I'd like to see him with an actual NFL offensive coordinator and not this joke that Matt Canada is. And just see if he's, let him get with a guy who's qualified to devise schemes, game plans, and actually play calls, and see what he does then.
Well, let me see how much you believe in Kenny Pickett. So, you can basically buy his rookie cards now at half the price prior to the season. So the bargain hunters will say, I'm going to pile up on as many Kenny Pickett rookie cards as possible, because once he turns it around, once he has a competent offensive coordinator, he's really going to take off. But then the other side says, no, his price is cut in half because the smart money sees, they've seen enough tape that he just doesn't see the field. He goes through his progressions, but then he just doesn't see it. If you look at Will Levis the other day, drops back, sees a player, gets rid of it. Boom. Comes out so quickly. So what are you thinking there with Kenny Pickett? So
I would definitely if the
are
card
you a believer?
I would, just from a value standpoint, it's worth investing in that, just for the potential return on the investment.
So you think he can become the answer then?
I do, but at that price. Now, if you would have told me that his rookie card had gone up in price, then I'd say stay away.
Yeah. Okay.
But that would also reflect that he's been doing well. So
yeah. And then Cleveland, not much to talk about. No offense, that's just a mess. Deshaun Watson has never returned to be that Deshaun Watson, and that's going to set Cleveland back for many, many years, because they have a great roster, and that's why they're 4-3. They have a phenomenal roster, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't either. I was really hoping for him to, come back and be Deshaun that we saw with the Texans, but I think Pittsburgh ends up better than Cleveland this year.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. And then we close out the AFC North with Cincinnati, and obviously we know the studs. They got the studs at the receiver position. Joe Burrow, if you can afford it, keep buying his rookie cards. What's not to like about Cincinnati? Honestly, what's not to like about Cincinnati?
Right.
I
mean,
mean,
they look like they're going to be challenging to win the division crown again. So certainly can't count them out, especially not if Burrow's healthy.
And if they get in the playoffs, they'll find a way, to just keep pushing forward into that championship game.
Yep.
Hang your hats now, guys.
Yeah.
Your hats now. Retire the picket jersey and on to the other division.
You're
Yep.
listening to Prophets and Ballers NFL halfway marks, studs and duds, talking about the stud teams, stud players, and the dud teams and the dud players. As we move to the AFC South, this is no surprise at all. I think just about every writer, just about every human being had Jacksonville running away with this division, and that's exactly what they've done through the halfway mark, and they're only going to probably create more gap than anything.
Yeah. And listen, I'm right with you. Trevor Lawrence, he's the real deal. Travis Etienne coming back from his knee injury.
How good has he been?
He's been great as a dual threat. They've got a really good defense. So no surprise there. However, what I do want to talk about more, and I don't want to dismiss Jacksonville because I think they're a shoe-in for the division. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs. Do I think they can knock off the likes of Cincinnati or Kansas City? Not yet. But Jacksonville fans, you're gonna be there because you have the most important position locked down with Travis or with Trevor Lawrence. So you've got the most important piece of the puzzle in place right now. Y'all are going to build on that, and you're going to be a force to be reckoned with. It's going to be difficult for that to happen this year. But the thing that I do want to talk about in that division, the surprise of the division, Houston, CJ Stroud. My goodness. Holy crap. You want to talk about a dude that you want to get the rookie card right now and stockpile on that. This kid is for real. 9 touchdowns and 1 interception. Yeah. I got dyslexic. 9 touchdowns, only 1 interception, 1,800 yards passing through 7 games.
Wow.
His quarterback rating, 94.9. This, while not having anything even remotely close to an NFL running game to back him up. They have no running game at all in Houston. None. And this kid has got them playing right now. Salts, what was their over and under for wins this year? They were one of the worst teams in the NFL, right? Vegas had them pegged at 3 or 4 for their total, right?
I think the lowest was Arizona at 4.
Yeah, Arizona was the lowest, yeah.
And then I think
but Houston was right there with them.
Houston was right there.
And they're 3-4 right now with a point differential of plus 20.
Yeah.
They're a 3-4 record with a plus 20 point differential.
Unbelievable. And who's he throwing the ball to?
And that's the other thing. All right, we're going to play a game, Mr. P. All right. Name a Houston Texan receiver. Go.
Yep, no idea. Can't even name one.
Yeah.
Can't even name one.
Because nobody knows any of them, right?
No one knows.
Would you be willing to place a wager on one Nico Collins?
Yeah, Robert Woods.
That's their leading wide receiver. Nico Collins out of Michigan. But listen, it's CJ Stroud is the man. And Houston, you have to be so excited about your future because when you can hit on that franchise quarterback like it looks like you've done, man, you can really make some moves right now. He's on a rookie contract right now. So you've got, 4 years to add to that talent surrounding him. And it's not going to put you out with regards to the cap because you don't have to pay him the big bucks yet.
And Davis Mills, you were never the answer.
Right?
Oh, boy, did they tease him. He really thought he was the answer.
Yeah.
But even, I mean, he can bust too, just like Danny Dimes, man. Danny Dimes busted, got a max contract, whatever you want to call it. And next thing you know, Tyrod Taylor's playing better than him.
I just can't. Yeah. I can't see CJ busting out. I see him only getting better and better.
Wow.
Yeah.
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 He's legit. That kid is legit.
He's legit. I mean, he's great. He just turned 22. He's young. Meanwhile, Pickett's like 32. Remember when Big Ben on his podcast is like, "How long did you play for Pitt? 8, 9 years?"
That was beautiful.
Yeah. No, CJ, definitely a stud going up. I mean, what happened to John Michie the third? He was supposed to be great. You remember him
Yeah.
out of Alabama?
Yeah.
Yeah, and is this his rookie year?
I don't know. To be honest, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, this is John Michie's rookie year. He's got 6 catches the whole year. Yeah. He's thrown to nobody. Okay, so while we're in that division, obviously Jacksonville's run away. So the other storylines, obviously CJ. Tell me about Will Levis. One and done.
We're gonna find out in Thursday Night Football against the Steelers, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know what? He certainly had a debut to remember. You can't discount what he did, but I mean, it was the Falcons. It's not like he went in and carved up Philadelphia, right? But with that being said, he was high on a lot of draft boards in the offseason. There was a lot of talk about him. So can he be that guy? Yeah, there's certainly a chance that he could be. The fact that you got King Henry to turn around and hand off to right now certainly takes a lot of pressure off of Levis and Butthead, if you will. When you can hand off to King Henry, teams got to respect that. And that can only help a young quarterback in his development with play action and so forth.
To me, he just played so calm, and the ball was coming out so quick. Whereas Kenny Pickett holds onto the ball too long, and then he bails the pocket. This kid climbs the ladder and gets rid of it.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, Malik and Tannehill, I think their days are done.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I think this kid is there to stay, and he had a heck of a game. Can move, got a great arm, showed accuracy, and showed a lot of touch. So obviously, good investment there. And okay, so that wraps up the AFC studs and duds. And you've been listening to Prophets and Ballers. So we're going to come back and we're going to do part 2, the NFC halfway mark, studs and duds. In the meantime, please enjoy this show. Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Mr. P, tell them how they can find us. And they get free giveaways, no catches, no nothing.
Yeah, if you guys want to find us, we're on YouTube, Spotify, all the major podcast platforms. If you guys are interested in sports card investing, you can find our blaster box and pack reviews. We're here to help the retail investors, and we get the boxes ourselves and review them and get a good sample size for you guys to understand if these sports pack boxes are worth the investment or not. You can make the judgment at the end of the day, and also you can comment, like, and subscribe to enter in our giveaways automatically. And we're giving away cards and packs for every video that we have out. So pretty exciting stuff. Go check it out.
Yes, please. With your support, you You're the only way where we can climb the algorithms. You can support us. We'll continuously support you guys with anything you want from the sports card world, any review you want, any card that you're looking for. We're here to help you build your personal PC. Having said that, please enjoy this and then look for part 2. NFC, NFL halfway mark, studs and duds. For Prophets and Ballers, until next time, much love.